Bienvenidos a este podcast en vivo.
Again, welcome to the Life Podcast. This is your host, CJ Alton. We are still moving with the astrology series. We have to switch the game up a little bit. We have to bring in some new guests, some new exciting features to the process. So I definitely want to introduce you guys to a wonderful woman. I've been knowing her
Oh.
for just over a year now, but she's really heavy in the game of astrology. She's very experienced. So I'm going to introduce Cynthia. How are you doing today?
Hello, how are you, CJ? I'm doing great. Thank you. Just very excited to be included on your project this time. I appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I'm good as usual. We gotta make every day a positive day. So starting off with the birthdays now,
Mm-hmm.
I just saw something right on Google where the birthdays are from March 21st to
Mm-hmm.
April 19th. Now, what type of sign is this, in terms of earth, water, fire, what kind of sign is this?
Yeah, so it's very simple. So Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Aries is part from three signs. The others are Capricorn and Libra. And then it's a fire sign. It's the first sign from the whole zodiac. So it's very important for astrology. And then it indicates the starts of everything. You know, spring is represented by Aries so far. So we are in season right now.
Yeah, so they
Mhm.
they call Aries like the baby sign. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they got that from, but basically, there's representations of Aries everywhere in all Egypt, to Greece, mythology.
In terms of Aries and talking about the
Mhm.
sun Aries,
Yeah.
um, what is like just that overall personality of a sun Aries? Like, how are they from a personality standpoint?
Yeah, so basically Aries is as a fire sign, it's perceived as very energetic, it's very passionate, it's not afraid of changes. He or she can be a fighter, it's those people who they do very well in positions of power because they like to lead all the time. They do great leaders so they can become good people in any like government positions. They do well at sports. Why? Because they are very outgoing, they're very extroverted, they're very active people. Probably you might get to see a lot of areas like rising Aries sign on probably gyms, like sporty environments. And then what's very particular about the sign too is that they are very passionate of everything they do. So if you want to know somebody that is really not afraid of anything, I would say Aries is your option for sure.
This is
Mhm.
definitely the segue where, we talk about the ruling planets of
Yes.
the sign.
Hmm.
And so, can you tell the people what are the
Hmm.
ruling planets of an Aries?
Yeah, so it's very simple. So basically, Aries is ruled by Mars. In all mythology, basically, Mars was represented by Aries. So Aries by itself in Latin, it actually means a ram, right? So it's more like a representation of Lord of War. So Mars, when I think on Mars, I think on a planet that basically represents action, like the fire that ignites action in the sky.
That's dope. I think Mars fits that sign perfect. Like, right? It's kind of hot, it's
Yeah,
fiery,
yeah,
that
like it gotta be.
yeah. Now, when we lean into talking about like traits
Hmm.
and characteristics, like what are
Hmm.
some traits of an Aries?
Whew, there's a lot.
Mm.
But probably some of them, I would say that Aries are very independent. Um, Like, I don't know if you guys are ever seen like cats, like cats are very like independent animals. That's how I perceive an
Mm,
Aries. They're not afraid of change. They go out there and seek what they want. And then, okay, so basically independent, energetic. They are not lazy at all. Okay. Like if you
mm.
want, like if any business owner will like a very reliable, loyal employee, I would say pick an Aries, please. Do that because they're very good at what they do. They're not lazy. They will always make sure that all the job gets done on time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then also, I would say that they're very adventurous. Okay. They like to experiment things by themselves. They are not the type of shy person that would tell you, oh, you know what? If the group doesn't go to, I don't know, whatever part, I won't go. No, they can do everything by themselves. And then also, I would say they are good leaders. So I would include leadership as one of their skills. So you have to include for sure Aries on any position of power or leadership or sport. I would say they do everything well. They're also very smart. Obviously, if they have a very well placed Mars or rising sign, that's something I have to say. Um, and then I will also like to add, you got to be careful with that energy that Aries have, because if they have a lot of energy that can be toxic sometimes. We're going to talk a little more about it in a moment.
Yeah, that's a good segue because I want to get into the weaknesses in Aries because from what I hear they're hotheads,
Hmm.
short-tempered. But
Yes.
what are just some weaknesses of an Aries and what they can get better at?
Yeah, so for sure, Aries are very famous for being very hot tempered. So if anybody out there is married to a rising sign Aries, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because they can be toxic. They might be the type of person that gets angry with almost anything that you say. You got to be careful with, like, they're very competitive too. They will tell you that they're better than you, they're better than anybody out there, almost to the point that they can get a little narcissistic sometimes, especially if they don't have a strong Mars, or yeah, they might potentially develop that in themselves and through others too. And then also, they are very bossy. I don't know if you heard about it, but if they are also in a position of power, or even on a like relationship, they can be very like controlling, or they like to be basically like an very how can I say, like, position of authority. So they tell you
Yeah,
what to do all the time.
yeah,
And
I can see
that's
that too. I can see that. I'm thinking of somebody right now, and I'm like, yeah, they kind of like that.
yeah, that's not good. That's not healthy.
What are the strengths of
Mhm.
an Aries?
I would say the main strength of from an Aries might be they get fit very quick. No, they do well. They do well at sports, and gym. Like if you go to any gym out there and you see any person, with abs and everything, most of them might have a very strong Mars, or most of them might be an Aries rising. It's just natural. It's the power that Mars give them. But more than that, I will also like to add that they are very like passionate on what they do. They put their 100% on whatever project they do. They're like very executive. So they engage on every project that they have. They're just not afraid to be out there. What they don't know, they look for it. They are just very independent, very like they get what they want, basically.
And yeah, they
Yeah.
they strive for it for sure. Go
Yeah,
get it.
very aggressive sometimes,
Yeah.
so but yeah, they do well. If I would
Okay.
be, the owner of any business out there, I would for sure hire any Areas.
I
They do
got
very
you.
well.
It's good. Yeah, I did hear about that. They're good like leaders and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that and get stuff done. Okay, you're on point. All right. So now we kind of talk about what a low frequency and a high, frequency or vibration, if you will, what the Aries might be. So just in terms of what a low vibration Aries might carry, what does that look like? How would they portray themselves? How would they act?
Areas are very impulsive. So sometimes, I don't know if you've seen those people before, for sure, but there are some people that they do before they think. They execute whatever project they have, and then they are like, you know what? I think I regret doing that. Let me go back. Let me go back. So they're just like that, they do before they do everything, and then the next day they're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done it, or I should thought more about that project, whatever.
What does a high vibration Aries carry?
So I would say a high vibration Aries might be someone that they are great leaderships, right? They do great at becoming leaders. So maybe entrepreneurs, like opening their own business, opening their own companies, as probably a coach, helping other people succeed or be successful in life. I can see an areas too, maybe in sports, trying to help other people to lose weight. um so yeah, they can for sure use their skills to make this world a better place.
Yeah, they got a
Yeah,
lot of energy, right? So they can
yeah, a
get
lot of
people.
energy, so they need to they
Yeah.
need to express that energy outside. Yeah, that's how a high vibration areas I think might look
Okay,
like.
cool. So who would you say in terms of a celebrity, who would you use for like an example that replicates like that perfect Aries?
Okay, so I have a very good example in my head right now.
Mhm.
One of them is Shakira. Shakira.
Okay, okay, hips don't
Yeah,
lie.
I think Shakira, she's the perfect example. She's a, very beautiful, fit lady, very energetic, her hips don't lie.
Yeah, for real.
I think that she's a perfect representation, because she's an Aries rising. Okay, so that means she has her first house is in Aries. So you can see, I mean, we're not fashion specialists, right? But I think she's beautiful by herself, but she doesn't do well in other areas like, like fashion, but she does well on dancing, executing, her own like business. She is not afraid of anything. I can give you one example. When when she left her ex-husband, the Spanish football player Piqué,
Mhm.
everybody was like, oh my gosh, like Shakira, what's going to happen with her? She was not afraid of change, okay? She was not afraid of leaving her ex and then finding a good life for herself. And now she's very
Mhm.
successful. That's another thing that I probably didn't mention about Aries. They are good achievers. She,
Mhm.
she never gets tired of achieving her own goals. She's very determined. She knows what she wants. She's like 40. I don't even know how old she is right now, but probably she's like 48 years
40
old.
something, yeah.
How old?
I'm assuming 40 something. I
Okay,
think.
like 40 something, but she looks amazing for her
Yeah.
age. And that's because she does a lot of sports. She loves dancing, she goes to the gym, she's
Mhm.
very active. She puts makeup on her by herself.
Mhm.
She's like one of these people who they don't need anybody else.
And just to be clear, because
Mhm.
that's her rising, right? Her rising is
Yes, her rising. So her first house. So in the moment that she was born,
Mhm.
by the time of birth, that's what her first house would
Okay.
look like, an
Okay.
Aries. She has
Got
her
it.
sun in Aquarius. So
Not dope. So, and that's just to make it clear, because I don't want people to be like, "Wait, isn't she a Aquarius?" It's like, no, her rising.
her rising sign, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, remember, solar sign is one thing, and then rising sign is another thing. It's basically
Exactly.
determined by the time that people is born. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So now when we talk about compatibility
Mm-hmm.
and we talk about, you know, the sun Aries,
Mm-hmm.
who are they compatible with, generally speaking? Because
That's a very good question.
yeah, yeah.
So basically, Aries, I would say they're very compatible with any fire sign to start. What are the fire signs? Okay, so we have Aries, right? They can be compatible with another rising sign, Aries too. They
Hmm.
can be very compatible with Leos, okay?
I heard they were compatible with
Sagittarius.
yeah,
Yes,
Saggy
sorry,
and
my bad. So we have Sagittarius, Leos, and Aries, right?
yeah.
Okay, that's the three fire signs.
Uh-huh.
Aries are also compatible with air signs. So we have Aquarius, we have Libras, and we have Geminis.
That's what I heard, that they
Okay.
were compatible with Aquarius.
Yes, rising signs, of course. And also, I would like to add that any sign can be compatible with any other sign as long as their natal charts and their aspects be compatible.
Mm,
That's another thing that I have to add to this. But as a general rule, with any air or fire sign.
okay. All right, cool. All right. So now, who do they not get along with so much? Like, who are those ones that's like, all right, I can't stand you.
Yeah, so it's the signs that we didn't mention. So I would say water signs and earth signs. Water signs, who are we talking about? We're talking about Cancer. We're talking about Pisces. We're talking about Scorpio. Um, Earth signs, we're talking about Taurus. We're talking about Virgo, and we're also talking about Capricorn. So
Mm,
basically, any earth or water rising sign
okay.
or any other sign that has a bad compatibility with their precise natal chart. But that's another topic that
Yeah,
someday we will explore, But yeah, as a general rule, any water or earth sign.
I like that. Good. All right. And to conclude this,
Mm-hmm.
this is usually the one that, I try to make people feel good about who they are.
Yes.
What's the general purpose of
Mm-hmm.
a Aries? Like what do they bring to the planet? You know, what is their purpose?
So I would say part of what I mentioned earlier, I feel like Aries is the starting point from the zodiac, right? So
Hmm.
basically, Aries, as the representation of springtime, is teaching us not to be afraid of what's coming up.
Mm,
Take leadership of your life. Uh, don't be afraid of anything. And then also pursue your dreams and your goals that you have in mind. Don't let anything stop you because just like the springtime, right? It arrives every single year and it brings us beautiful things from nature. It brings us flowers when they're blooming. It brings us beautiful sceneries out there. We as human beings can contribute to bring action to this life.
mm,
So we can, as an Aries, I think they are teaching us that action, not, I mean, like laziness is not good for us. We need to take
yeah,
action, and we need to take action, and we also need to take responsibilities for everything good that we do or bad too. It's the
yeah,
same thing. So don't be afraid, people,
yeah.
and take leadership on everything that you do. Yeah.
That's dope. Well, Cynthia, that was incredible. As you can see, you have a plethora of
Thank you so
information.
much.
I look forward to honestly, I really do look forward to the Taurus episode because I know that's really like where you get into the nitty gritty. You know all the signs, but I think that episode will be very special. So
I think I know that's very, very on a very special level.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's incredible. Thank you again for showing up today. And hopefully the
Oh,
people
no,
learn
no
a lot.
worries. I mean, it's a pleasure for me to be part of this project, and hopefully you guys understood what I was really trying to communicate. It's just a very different vision from what most astrologers have or can tell you about. And yeah, just
Yeah,
apply it to your life, people.
absolutely. So Until next time, this will conclude this Aries episode, and we'll move on to the next episode, Taurus.
All right, I like that. Thank you very much, CJ, and thank you very much, people out there. Subscribe to his channel, please.
There you go. Free advertising, you know what I'm saying? So, peace to you.